Welcome to the Justin Ng Show, where real entrepreneurs and investors reveal how they turn humble beginnings into high-impact ventures. From bold moves to capital raises, we unpack what it really takes to build and scale greatness. Let's go check it out. How do you use incentives to build teams that actually ship? Today we break down startup compensation, equity, and the systems that keep talent aligned through the massive middle. You'll hear a simple equity template for early hires so everyone knows the rule. Welcome back to the Justin Ng Show. I'm joined by Nielson, entrepreneur and builder behind Zencentive, and a community connector in the StartUpNV ecosystem. We're talking cap tables, comp plans, and practical hiring frameworks founders can use today. Nick, welcome to the show. Thank you again. Thank you so much, Nick, for joining me here today.
Thanks for having me.
Our new podcast studio. And thank you to Jackson and the Podcast Mansion for having us here, for hosting us.
Yeah.
And so typically what I usually do is just, I started off with asking, like, how did you get started in where you are from humble beginnings to, where you are right now at Incentive, and also like working for Fund and Nevada, and helping startups raise capital. Like, what was the challenges you went through, like, for things that you've done from your humble beginnings to where you are right now?
Yes. So I'll keep it, I guess, relevant as it relates like to investing in StartUpNV. But I went to school out at Notre Dame, and shortly there, and actually during university, I interned there, and so that's how I actually got my feet wet.
Yes.
So they have their own venture arm. So right when I was, I think it was a freshman in like 2015, they actually spun up a venture capital, $25 million venture capital firm. So I got introduced to them by interning.
Oh, wow.
And so then shortly thereafter, I worked for them for a little bit, for a couple of years, and that's kind of how I got my feet wet, kind of just being around there. I was kind of hooked to the, their mentality, the things that they were doing out there. And so, I guess fast forward to now, that's how I eventually I networked my way into like the people at StartUpNV and FundNV and Sierra Angels. So that's kind of how I got from like that progression to now.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. And when you say mentality, that's one of the things that I always hear a lot, listening to podcasts and talking to people. Like, what was it that was very profound that you learned from getting that mentality that built that mindset for you?
So you mean asking for, in terms of like, what was the mentality?
Yeah. How was it like different? Like, how was it changed your way of thinking and way of your mindset?
I'll say it's like this startup mentality itself is very different than I think a lot of people that go into like corporate America do.
Agreed. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Like, there's a lot of Notre Dame students that actually go like that route. They go investment banking, private equity, or a combination of any of those things. But it's very like, not that it's a different type of grind, but I would say it's almost like you never turn it off to a certain extent. Yeah. So for a lot of startups, I think you kind of live and breathe that. And so I think that's the mentality that that I got addicted to. Even more so, I think there's a specific lingo like that you get kind of used to and familiar when you're talking about like the VC space and startups as well.
Okay.
And so, and this is funny, I used to always talk to my sister, and you know how different industries have different terms, right?
Yes.
So she works for Procter and Gamble, and she has these like her own industry terms about working for. But then I'll go and I'll talk to her about like some of the things that I do and that we're involved with. It's just like, you're speaking gibberish to me. So it's those types of things that I think I really got fixated on, kind of coming out. The name of the studio is the Idea Center.
Idea Center. Okay.
Yeah. So Pit Road Fund was the name of the fund. And so that's kind of, like I mentioned, that's where I got my feet wet. That's where I kind of I sat in on investor meetings, all those types of things that I, just to, like I said, get my feet wet.
So. Wow, that's amazing. And that was all during college in Notre Dame?
Yeah, during and shortly right after.
Shortly right after?
Yeah.
And how was it in like your experience? Was it in sitting in the meetings with the investor meetings and working in the fund as well. Like,
Yeah.
how was that? Because that's kind of like something that interests me in terms of like, raising capital
Yeah.
for projects that are coming across. Like, how was your experience like, and how did it help develop yourself to where you are right now?
I mean, it's interesting because I think the same mentality that I mentioned about my sister,
Mm-hmm.
you know, yeah, to a certain extent, you kind of feel like her in that sense. It's a lot of different things, and it's kind of overwhelming at first, but you get used to it, you get acclimated, and you start learning. And that's what I guess if I were to give advice to anyone who would want to get involved in like the VC space or get started investing, just learn, listen.
Just listen,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think that's the biggest thing.
And that was the catalyst for you to bring you forward to like StartUpNV
Yeah.
and help
Yeah,
you.
a little bit. I mean, and it's funny that you mentioned that too, because I think one of the things that allowed me to actually just like click, the guy's name is Jeff Sailing
Mm-hmm.
with StartUpNV. The one thing that we actually connected with the most was like 5 or 6 years ago when we initially met is like, oh, he actually kind of understands some of the game that they're doing at StartUpNV. And so I think that's why, we just got along so well because of what I did before and it brought it towards StartUpNV.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And how is it going for you right now with StartUpNV? I know you did work for them, and then you kind of like now you're working for the incentive as well, right? So.
Yeah. So I guess to clarify exactly, so what I did was like when I came, back to Vegas after university, I met Jeff, and I really wanted to get embedded in like the startup ecosystem here in Vegas, and he was the first one that I met.
Mm-hmm.
And so all the time that I was working with him, I actually was like never a paid employee. I
Okay.
just helped him with some different things, either like fundraising or, vetting companies or startups and stuff like that. So it was all like, for lack of better terms, like pro bono. So
Okay.
we were working together in like a side by side capacity, and I've invested with him along the way. So that is like that's the way that we've been working together. So I've
Okay.
never actually worked with him as like a paid employee. Not to say that I wouldn't in the future,
Yeah.
but so all that to say, bring it forward now. It's going great. Fund NV1 is fully deployed. They're raising Fund NV2. They're also trying to raise, I think it's 1864, if I get the numbers right. So it's a bigger $10 million fund that they're trying to raise as well too.
Wow.
And then they host these different angel events. Hopefully I sent it to you. They host Angel NV. I think they're on their 5th or 6th round this year.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So so this would be a great event for you or anyone else who's trying to be an angel investor. They actually go through like this 6 to 8 week intensive course of teaching investors how to be angel investors. And so they go through that process, and then at the very end, they actually pick a couple winners. So if you go on LinkedIn, you can, or on their website as well too, you can see like who won. It only happened a couple weeks ago too.
Oh really?
Yeah.
And it was here in Vegas.
It was it's at the City Hall.
Oh wow.
Great. Yeah.
Just down the
It's yeah,
street.
exactly. It was
Just down the street.
right
Yeah.
down the street. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's
And you were
great.
involved in that one. You saw everything through.
What did I did not participate this year, but I did attend just as a participant because I like being around Josh Curtis is another guy who is also heavily involved in that, and he's taken over, I think, Sierra Angels and parts of Fund NV. So he kind of has been leading the charge. He's a great guy to know. You should actually get him on the podcast as
I
well
would
too.
love to. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So, but anyway, I love the energy. I love the stuff that they're doing. So I went this year. The reason I didn't participate this year is because I invested in the winner of the company
Okay.
through another vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you say invested, are you talking about time or is it more like
This,
capital?
I guess, in this sense, capital.
Capital. Okay. Okay.
But it could be both for me,
Okay.
either time or capital.
Yeah, because when you mentioned when you worked with Jeff, you were doing like say pro bono, most like an
Yeah.
intern.
Okay. That's a great. Yeah. And
So you
that's a
were
really good
investing
point,
both
yeah.
time
And
and
capital. Yeah.
capital as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Time very early on, capital more now because I'm involved with incentive.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess fast forward, because I think you were asking about this too.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward to now, I was moving away from one of my jobs, and I went back to Jeff, and I basically said, do you know anyone looking for, I guess, a salesperson or someone to kind of help with sales? And he pointed me in the direction of Alex Kulik, who's the CEO of Zencentive. So I've been working with him for about 6-ish months full time. Um, and so that's how I got introduced to him. So not only am I an investor in Zencentive, but because of my relationship with Jeff, that's how I that's how I got introduced to Alex.
And as incentive, you're doing mostly what kind of roles are you doing over there?
I mean, well, you probably hear this, but like and any other startup, you play a lot of you wear a lot of different hats, but it's mainly client acquisition. So focusing on full cycle salesperson, everything from lead generation to closing to even a little bit of onboarding and stuff like that too.
So you're basically finding people to come in and do that as a salesperson.
No, me. I'm doing that. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
are you like the only salesperson in Zencentive right now?
I am, and I'm not sure if I should say, but like we're hiring and growing.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
Okay, that's perfect. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing Zencentive also was a startup that came through from Jeff's connection.
Exactly.
And that's how you were able to get the opportunity to work there. So that's truly amazing. And for that one, for sure, you're investing the time and also getting paid for doing what you love.
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
It's
and
good. I like the guys, and they're a lot of fun, and it's a great space actually. Compensation, and people told me that when I got involved in it too to begin with. It's like I've had mentors tell me, compensation is great. I'm 6 months and it's like, it is actually really good.
Right.
So
I'm guessing also like for shifting the way that doing everything for Jeff and then going through something that's a little bit different, sounds like, because you're doing more like the fundraising and helping investing your time and capital to it as well.
Yeah, but it's kind of a little different, but it's very much the same. So one of the first jobs that I also had out of school was I worked for as basically a sole salesperson for a finance and accounting company as well too.
Gotcha. Okay.
So sole salesperson. So when I got there, we had 300K in annual recurring revenue, and we went all the way up to 1.5 million.
Wow, nice.
Recurring revenue. So being in a sales role, and that's kind of what they needed at the time. That's just what I was used to.
Okay.
So there's nothing different. I get
so it's
in terms
seamless.
of like
Seamless.
So I'm selling. I'm now selling compensation software, incentive compensation software versus like accounting services.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. And but that's also kind of like a different shift, right? From college you went from working with these funds as well. You still have a sales background, so it's kind of like you were just like kind of going through in parallel, working both times. And how easy was it to, or how hard it was for you to like balance it out?
Shift or
shift between one side of my side and then to the other side of the fundraising.
Honestly, it's actually a really good question, because the one thing I will say is like even for fundraising, it's essentially you're selling as well. Because like when you go out and fundraise your company, I don't have as much experience. Like I've been on the fundraising journey for like when I was at these startups versus being on the other side of the table of basically asking for money from limited partners. The point is like you're essentially selling in both roles.
Okay.
So if you're a fund administrator, and I have other, or not fund administrator, but if you're like a general partner and you're going out and raising a fund, you're essentially selling the vision or your expertise to limited partners. So you go out to people and essentially say, hey, I've been really successful at this, and I'm raising a fund to invest my money, or I really believe that I can make money in this specific space. That's not any different than saying like I'm selling to my customers because we have this product.
Okay.
So you're either selling to limited partners or your clients.
That's interesting. So I guess this kind of ties in also to what people are saying, like, if you know how to sell, you can do mostly any kind of roles, any Because it's kind of like seamless. That kind of skill set you have is
That's what they say.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely a transferable skill.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of different things that, a lot of good habits and techniques that can be applicable to a lot of different areas.
Okay.
Which I think is why a lot of salespeople go on to do a lot of different things, either like CEOs or build their own company.
Yeah.
You name it.
And yeah, so that's what I hear too. But I'm guessing your tactics are not kind of like the sleazy car salesman type pitch.
You try not to be. I think the biggest thing, and one of the things, I'll go back to like speaking about the work that I did at Notre Dame. One of the things that we were doing was like taking and talking to alumni in the Notre Dame community, and we would say, okay, we believe that they have ideas or experience, and we would basically take our resources and build a company out of that. The methodology that I learned during that time was that you have to start with that problem. So that, and understanding that a customer or a prospect or what have you has a problem,
Mm-hmm.
that's, I think, very fundamental to like, regardless of what you're selling and where you're selling to. So rather than, just pitching and, like you said, a
Right.
sleazy car salesman or whatever, it understanding the problem and relating to and building relationships too is, I think,
Gotcha.
makes the difference between like a sleazy car salesman.
And how was it like sometimes when, based on my experience, when you talk to people and they don't want to tell you their problems, how do you get them to open up?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. There's tons of different methodologies that you can kind of go out there and take a look at, but essentially asking different questions in different ways to understand that there really is a problem, or like getting at the root of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
There's really good podcasts. Like one podcast I listened to is 30 Seconds to President's Club. Most recently, I think they did a podcast on really, it was a not problem discovery, but essentially a discovery call. That's what it was.
A discovery call, yeah.
Exactly. So understanding that they have a problem or a need that would essentially your solution could fit or fill. So that's
interesting.
yeah, it is super, super interesting. So for anyone or any salespeople, I highly recommend that podcast.
Okay, what was the podcast again? So that
30 Seconds to President's Club.
30 Seconds of Precedence?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Armand Farouk, I think, is his name too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we probably have to check it out. Yeah. That'd be interesting too.
Yeah, I'm dropping a lot of different names here. Jeff, Josh, all these different people.
Right.
That you're gonna have to.
But Jeff already, I reached out to him already. I think you mentioned to me he's also very busy going through and going through the Angel NV and everything, right?
Yeah.
So
which is funny because I actually think he's in Vegas right now, because you should reach back out to him because he's in Vegas like every other week or so,
mm-hmm.
because he hosts pitch events on Wednesdays.
Oh,
nice. Today's Thursday. So he was here yesterday.
He was here yesterday. Okay. And I know you say it was a discovery call. I've heard of that before, and usually some people also sends out like a form before they do the discovery call, just to filter out, I guess. Is that the right word to use?
Obviously it depends I think, on the industry and your company and your sales process.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I've learned that I think is super helpful for me is when I do discovery calls is I'll actually send just a quick, it'll be a quick email like 24 hours before the call, essentially asking like, hey, XYZ person, really excited to chat. I've talked to, sales leaders, or specifically like sales ops or compensation benefits managers, and they've experienced, this problem, or, maybe I'll list a problem or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But essentially what I'm trying to get at is like, I want to understand where they're at in their journey. Do they have a tool in place? Are they just using Excel? Are we competing with someone else to try and get their business? It helps me understand. So when we kind of go for that initial first discovery call, mm-hmm. whether I'll be showing them a demo, what if we are showing them a demo, what I will show them on the call. So certain stuff like that is kind of super helpful. It
helps to tailor the
30-minute conversation.
Yeah, your pitch to them.
Correct.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and I'm pretty sure you've gone through so many ways of pitching your deal and your sales pitch and everything. Like, Was it like repetition that made you get better and better?
Yes, 100%.
And
100%.
were you getting like feedback or criticism or critiques from different people? Like, do you have like somebody listening as well, just to tell you, hey, in the beginning,
Yeah.
this is what happened, and what can you do better?
Well, I'll say this is like we're still trying to refine our pitch and figure that out
Okay.
too. But I think a lot of the feedback that you get is from your prospects that, figure out or kind of tell you implicitly like this resonates, this doesn't resonate, and whatnot. So you can kind of pick up on those details pretty quickly. For the first couple of months, probably 3 or 4, 5, maybe even 5 months, I had my CEO on these demo calls or like these discovery calls too, because our product is so robust. I'm still even learning it
Okay.
today,
Yeah.
because there's so many different features that they've built in to kind of handle these different use cases or specific needs. So when you said like, am I having people on the call? Yeah, my CEO was
In the
on the
beginning, though,
yes,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
And
Nowadays I'll usually take a discovery call, do like a quick demo, and then if they want to do like a deeper dive, then I'll bring him on. He has tons of expertise, and he's been on compensation, I think, for honestly ever since he graduated school. So and
wow,
that was 10, maybe 12 years ago.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he worked for one of our biggest competitors now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
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 Wow, that's amazing. And what would be the biggest tip you can advise and give people on how to like perfect their sales and your pitch to be able to get to entice and get to extract out the problem? Like, what is your biggest tip and advice that you can give on that?
I think actually what we were just talking about, practice and repetition.
Okay.
Make sure you're recording your meetings as well too, so you can
okay.
always go back and take a look at like what resonates, tips. There's tons of different software out there that you can actually just record meetings and stuff like that. Like a couple tools are Fathom. I think that's a really good tool. Spiky.ai I think is another tool, but essentially they just record these calls and provide really good insights for
Okay. And then you listen in, and then you feel like, okay, I could
Yeah.
have done better here. I could have done better here. I could have,
100%. Yeah.
like, maybe like the way you talk and your intonation, your
100%. So, and it's funny because like one of the things that I think a lot of tools do is like it'll notify you, am I talking too much? Like, and you don't want to talk at a prospect. It's supposed to be literally a conversation to understand.
Yeah.
Like, is this a good fit? Am I answering, the prospect's questions? Am I asking the right questions? So it shouldn't be a lecture to your prospects, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And
Yeah.
and all this is from all these years of experience and like working and doing the pitch and working for the fundraising.
Yeah.
And I think going back to the angel thing, angel envy, and like how you say you participate, like investing capital and time with them, and you're advising me to be able to join in as well. Is it something for me to bring the product or the things that I'm trying to raise funds for? Is it something to just sit down, listen to how people pitch and hear how they say things?
So I guess a couple things. So on either end, so there's investors who participate in the due diligence process of like actually vetting the startup who ends up winning. But if you're talking about like pitching, there's the founders on the other end who actually go through the process of, and I think they probably have like a couple hundred submit pitches each year. So on each end, there's entrepreneurs pitching their idea. There's also investors listening to those pitches, but also essentially like learning in that process. Does that make sense?
So it's
Is that
almost
kind of
like,
what you're asking about?
yeah. So it's kind of like how when you say participate, do I participate in one side or the other side, or just being there as an audience to listen?
Yeah, that's actually a great point. I mean, as a participant, you could just go and listen in.
Oh, okay, okay. So you can.
I'm sure. I don't know what the rules are necessarily, but I know like for a couple meetings I've just sat in as well.
Because you get to listen, right? You get to be part of the experience and immerse yourself and see how things are. And I'm guessing each presenter will have different product lines of different things.
Yeah. Well, that's actually a really good point too, because the number of entrepreneurs that pitch different solutions or companies, it's like a very broad range.
Mm-hmm.
Like the one that won this year was a like a procurement software company for renewable energy.
Nice.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then there were a couple others. I can't even remember. But you see, like all people like companies that span the scope of like deep tech to real estate
Mm-hmm.
to one was a deep tech company. As now that I think about it too. So yeah, it varies.
It varies.
Yeah.
Okay. And how did you? Were there judges as well, basically, as part of the?
So the judges are the angel investors. So they
Okay.
go through the due diligence process and they pick. I think there's 5 or 6 that end up pitching on the final day, and then they pick either 1 or 2.
Oh, okay. So it's almost like
So they go through the process. Like you start at the top of a funnel,
yeah.
you make it all the way down to like those 5 or 6,
Mm-hmm.
and then out of those 5 or 6, they pick the winner.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
And the investors are basically on the other side. They are the ones that will judge and say which
yeah,
one. So
yeah.
it's almost like kind of like Shark Tank, but
It's a yes. That
and
is
it's
exactly
yeah,
what everyone compares it to.
and
But
then
that's
just go down
yeah.
and down and are these because it's all in the NV, right? So NV like Nevada, is it? Do they have to be the companies that's in Nevada itself?
For Angel and V, I think it does specifically, and there are like different ways that you can kind of get around that if you're a founder, looking to get that's looking to get in front of Angel and V.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it's as loose as like, oh, I have operations in Vegas, but I live in California or
Gotcha.
something
Okay.
like that. So
Okay.
they can be they pretty loose
Mm-hmm.
with their like requirements. But I know it's been very specific because it's the idea that Jeff with the like with him putting together this fund is that he wanted to have homegrown investor capital here because there's Silicon Valley, there's Austin, there's even Salt Lake, New York,
Mm-hmm.
you name it, LA. They've got their own ecosystem of capital that they can raise from. Vegas doesn't really have that. So his idea was to actually be the genesis of like Vegas or Nevada capital that Nevada founders can raise from.
That's a good vision right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
It's holding, and I think
yeah,
he's doing a pretty good
that's
job.
amazing.
We
Yeah.
just need more. There's tons, and it's funny because like I think there's tons of wealthy individuals in Vegas and Incline Village in like
In Lake,
Reno or
yeah,
Carson City, Reno, Carson.
Lake Tahoe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
over there. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Lake Tahoe. I think there's a lot of people. We just need to kind of figure out how we connect the dots and like bridge them to deals that people would invest in.
Okay.
So,
So that's kind of like the problem that you guys are facing right now. That you're trying to find a.
they have a pretty good investor network. Jeff specifically does.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I think if I were to go back and like if you know, hopefully Zencentive does really well, and we move on, and I move on to my next role. I think my next role should actually be something along the lines of like connecting investors or people with high net worth individuals with StartUpNV to participate.
Okay, and then bring them into those places where they would present, and then you can sit down and listen to them. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's a good vision. That's
Yeah.
good. I hope that you can achieve that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are there any steps that you're taking right now to be able to achieve that, or you're just taking it day by day and hopefully things will.
So I guess in terms of, I'm just trying to stay involved with StartUpNV as much as I can, given that I guess the one thing I haven't mentioned on this podcast either is like, so I've got my day job, and then we've talked about this, but I've got Motif. So it's an interior design and furniture staging company. So between those two, I'm pretty busy in and of itself.
Okay.
So the fact that I'm still involved in StartUpNV or Sierra Angels just to kind of attend meetings, that's
amazing.
that's perfect.
Wow.
That's perfect for me. So so staying involved in like those capacities is great for now. Once I move away from Zencentive, then I'll probably figure out how I can be more useful to
and just balance everything out.
StartUpNV. Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, is it how are you balancing everything right now? Just
it's difficult, but at the same time, like my girlfriend and my partner and my business, she's the interior designer. She
Mm-hmm.
has her
Yeah.
day job as well too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But so we both have our day jobs and we work on
The
motif
motif. Yeah.
design together. But honestly, she's super helpful. And
Nice. Okay.
the nice thing about motif is that sometimes we get to work on it on the weekends.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
We'll put furniture in houses on
Right.
weekends and stuff like that. So it helps a little bit.
Okay. And yeah, I guess since you brought up motif, like explain a little bit more, like what motif is about and what your role is, and
Yeah.
how are you guys providing value from the motif?
Yeah, so my girlfriend's an interior designer. She's worked for Wedgwood in the past, which is like a company that buys and sells homes. She left there, I think, at the end of last year, is now working for Bayview, which is like a big asset management
Mm-hmm.
company, and they're essentially doing the same thing. So
Oh,
what
okay.
happens is they buy older houses. She goes and she redesigns them, and then they sell them for more. Super cool. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's super awesome.
Sounds really good.
So
Yeah.
the reason I bring that up is because she used to stage houses at her old job, and she was looking at some of, I guess, one, the quality, and two, the price points that people would charge just to kind of put furniture in a house for 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh my God, I can totally do this.
Yeah.
So she came home after work one day. I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah.
So we incorporated the business. We've only been around for 4 or 5 months or so now.
Yeah.
We're staging 2 houses this month. That was our goal as a side hustle.
Yeah.
That was our goal. So essentially what happens is through our network, we go through and either an investor, so a flipper, someone who buys and sells houses,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
or a real estate agent will come to us and say, hey, I really want this house staged. And like, okay, great. What rooms are you looking for? We already have a couple sets, so we'll go in. Usually, Madison, she'll put together like maybe she'll map it out like through the house, through the floor plan. We agree on the price, set the date, and then go from there. So it's really straightforward
Yes.
for the most part. Like it's kind of hands off until the day that you have to actually stage the house, because then we spend like 4 or 5 hours, maybe 6, maybe not 6, like 4 or 5 hours a day.
But just the two of you furnishing the whole entire house.
Yeah. The one thing I will say, so
do you guys get help to just move the stuff in?
we have movers.
Okay.
So like
fair.
I will rent the truck. We'll go pick it up from storage, and then we'll have movers kind of set some things in the house. So we have movers along the way, but we do like the lion's share of the moving ourselves.
Okay. And does your girlfriend actually can't think of the word right now, what is she a mock-up of
She did. So the floor plan, I think, is like her way of kind of mapping it out. Other than that, I mean, we have like photos of houses we've done in the past. And so if clients come to us, like actually the most recent house that we did, the owner, she had a very specific vision, and I think she sent photos to Maddie too.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and she's like, oh, I kind of want it to look like this. And she's like, all right, great, no problem. So she went through, set up all the plates, and, I think she has all the photos, but, we posted them on Instagram for a very brief second.
Okay.
We're not very good at posting because we're so busy doing
I know,
other
because
things.
you guys are actually doing the job, the work itself. So
The one thing I will say is like the difference that between Motif and Zencentive in terms of like selling software, I think or at least this is for me, we receive like some sort of instant gratification, because you go through like the 4 or 5 hours and then everything is set up in the house. So like, it's done. And it's, I think, very gratifying in that sense to see like, oh my gosh, this is how it turned out.
And then sometimes, and this is only for houses that you're trying to sell, right? Not for people to come to rent. And
mainly for just houses that are usually being sold.
And what happened to the furniture? Do typically the home buyer want to keep them in the house, or do they?
That's actually a really good question. So all the furniture we own. However, one of the most recent houses, the buyer inquired about buying our furniture, and so we listed to them. We just gave it pretty much the list price of what we got it at. They eventually they said no, but
okay.
Yeah. So the reason I said that, because there is an opportunity to for someone else to buy our furniture.
So they were thinking to get a discount on the thing, and
On the furniture,
Yeah,
or
on the furniture.
I don't think I'd sell it at a discount.
Right, because they were looking for it and they said no.
Yeah.
And then, okay, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
And then, is there a timeline for you guys to take everything out too?
It depends. It depends on when the house sells.
Okay.
So the way we structure our contracts is it's usually for the first 30 days, and then it's based on like monthly thereafter.
Mm-hmm.
So if it doesn't sell within the first 30 days, then we'll charge another 30 and then another 30,
Okay.
and then until it sells. Usually and we haven't had a house sell, or we haven't had a house sit for 30 days, I think. I think it's always been like within the first month.
That's amazing. So that means you guys are doing an amazing job.
I guess, honestly, I think it's more of a testament to actually just having people stage their house.
Yeah.
I think it makes a huge difference, even if like I have very little experience in the real estate market, so, but this is my naive opinion, is that when you go as, like when you have open houses and you go and you see the furniture in the house, even if I'm listing my house, like I have furniture in my house, if I were to have someone walk through it, I think it makes it look much nicer versus like walking in vacant house. It's harder for people to picture and imagine like what goes where, or like how to utilize the space. I think it makes it that much better. So therefore people are more enticed to buy it.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. Because whenever people go and look for houses and they want to buy a house, they always go and look. The first thing to look at is a kitchen.
Yeah.
And then I think it's the bathrooms next or something.
Yeah. The primary and master bedroom as well too.
And that basically tells, kind of like drives their mindset and their way of thinking of whether this house is perfect for them. So and you guys basically just enhance that experience for them. Yeah. And how different is it like compared to people who use a virtual stage than you guys that do like a physical staging?
Yeah, great question. Obviously there's virtual staging options. We don't do virtually staged, even though I think we could. I think the difference is so a couple things. I think the difference is when you go through the photos, you can sometimes really tell that it's virtually staged. So it looks okay. But then also so the second piece of that is like, okay, if it's virtually staged and it looks good, but then I want to go see the house and it's not staged. I think that kind of throws people off as well too.
Correct. Yeah, I see what you're saying, because when there's some listings I see that they have the virtually staged and the next one will be just a vacant.
Yeah.
And then they just fight when
exactly.
keep doing that way. And I don't know, have you come across where it doesn't even sell within the 30 days, the first month?
Not with us, but there's tons of houses I think that are like that too. And this is probably more of a testament to like the broader housing market, which I probably am in no place to to give a prediction on where that is and where it's going. But like one of my friends is selling a very nice house. I think it's listed for like 2.5 million or something like that in the Lakes. And I'm not sure if it's because of the location or the house or the market or what, but I think he listed it a couple months ago and it hasn't sold yet either. So
did you help stage it for them?
We talked about it. We actually talked about it, but he or his buyer didn't want to go through with that, just given the economics of the deal for him. So
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I'm still rooting for him to sell that house.
For sure.
It's a really cool project, and it's funny because we went to actually go walk that house over there. It's the first time I've been over at the lakes or Lake Las Vegas in a while. But there's some cool homes over there, and there's some vacant lots as well too.
Yeah,
it's super interesting.
Okay, you're talking about the Lake Las Vegas, right?
Yeah,
not the lakes over.
Lake Las Vegas, not the lakes. Yeah,
and so do you guys hire a photographer as well, or you guys do all the photography in house?
We have that. We just did. We hired our photographer for our first home. One of the first projects, basically, so we could put it on our website. But now we'll either use the photos that the real estate agent puts on Zillow. Just like, hey, could you just send those? Because you'd love to use it as collateral, or we'll take photos on our phones and Maddie will edit them in Photoshop. So.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So that's good. You guys do everything kind of like in house.
I mean, it is. Yeah. It's our side project. We don't have all the money in the world. basically all of our capital
Yeah.
is in our furniture. And obviously, if you want to talk about time commitment too, that's very big time commitment
Right,
from
right.
our end. So
And do you have a big storage just to put them in?
yeah,
Just
we
to,
do have a big storage place as well
okay.
too. Yeah.
Have you come across any challenges ever since you start Motif and trying to what was the challenges that you come across?
For Motif specifically, yeah, I really wish Maddie was here so you could ask her as well
Oh,
too.
okay.
No, I because the reason I say that is I'm sure there's different challenges
Mm-hmm.
for her versus me. Um, Honestly, I think the biggest challenge is just is the furniture. It's like the day of, like when we were first getting the furniture, like I built a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
But now that, yeah, honestly, now that like everything's built, I think it's just the day of the move. So,
Yeah,
but
just putting and bringing
yeah,
it in and out,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Wow. So you're kind of almost like a professional mover too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
literally.
yeah.
It's funny that you say that because like I joke now too. Like, yeah, my part of my profession or like my day job is I build furniture,
and
build furniture and move it.
yeah, that's
So
amazing. Yeah. Coming from the real estate space, I kind of see like what happens like someone actually got into contract, they were happy with it, and something bad happened and they fall off,
yeah, yeah,
and now you have to put it back in, and then the whole process starts again.
yeah.
And
I'm very glad I do not have to deal with
right,
that piece of the puzzle.
that
Yeah,
that's kind of like an interesting problem because everything's closed or almost closing. You took everything out, and all of a sudden it falls.
yeah.
Now you have to go back and put everything back again.
Well, actually, that hasn't happened yet in
Okay.
terms of like staging and then restaging. Thank God that hasn't happened to us.
Okay.
I think under most cases too, if that was to ever happen, we'd
Mm-hmm.
probably I'd assume the real estate agent would just probably keep it out. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
but I'm sure there's instances where that happens all the time.
Okay. Um, I guess one of the things I usually ask too is like, what is the one thing that that you think you would like your clients to know that they should be asking, that that they should be asking, that will help you um,
Hmm.
in on all aspects of your business, and in Motive and Incentive and Startup
Okay.
NV.
Okay. Let me see if I can focus on which
Yeah,
which entity. So, what should our clients be asking us in regards to?
like you would like them to ask you so that you can help them better and help them to,
Yeah,
like, remember we talked about problem solving, gotta
yeah,
get to their why or their
yeah,
problem.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
what's the one thing they should be asking? It can be any of the three.
yeah.
Like,
Hmm.
which one do you think is like something that will help them go through the process seamlessly for both of you guys?
Yeah. I think I'll start with the hardest one, which is motif. Um, yeah, I guess it's really tough. The other thing, we haven't had too many clients because we've only had like two or
Mm-hmm.
one a month. But the one question that I wish they would ask us is like, do you maybe offer payment options or pay like,
Oh, okay.
or because one thing that we've actually been starting to offer is because most people are very price conscious when it comes to these types of things. What we've started to offer is payment upon closing. I think that's actually helped our business and kind of allowed us to close more deals. Um, for Zencentive specifically, what I wish our prospects or client would ask us is how difficult would it be to implement?
Mm, yeah.
So yeah, switching gears to Zencentive or back to Zencentive. Um, what I wish they would ask is like how difficult it would be to so some of our prospects either have a system in place or they have a process that they really like. What I wish they would ask is like, is it difficult? My response obviously would be no. It's actually super simple and straightforward
To just implement. Yeah.
to implement. Because sometimes I feel like we deal with that. Ripping and replacing software can be really a pain. So I get that at the
Yeah.
same end, but I wish they would ask that more often.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
those are the two I got.
That's the most profound thing that you think that they should be asking.
Yeah. And that wasn't very profound, but it's just very
It will help. It will help you to be able to help them.
Yeah. Yeah.
It will be something that they will help you, guide you to provide the value that they need to be able to get them to the finish line and be at least give them the best that you can,
Yeah.
the value that you can give to be able
Yeah.
to, so that they will, be the referral, be the, exit, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I can't think of the word right now, like continuous, like coming back to you, like
Yeah.
a repeat customer.
Sticky customer.
Sticky customer, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I remember that too. Yeah, sticky customer. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think those are my responses, but you kind of caught me off guard, so I'll sit with that and I'll let you know, especially
Okay, yeah.
for both motif and incentive
Yeah.
as well.
And but yeah, so I guess in conclusion, in closing, like, where people can reach you for StartUpNV and incentive and motive.
Yeah, honestly, LinkedIn is definitely the best place for me to connect. I'm most active there for Zencentive, a little less so for Motif, but we do have a page and it's listed in kind of like my bio or resume, whatever you want to call it.
On LinkedIn?
Yeah, on
Okay.
LinkedIn. But I think if anyone wants to get in touch with you, that would be the best way to do so.
And what is it? Is your full name on LinkedIn? Like how?
Yeah, it's Nick Nielson. I know there's a couple on LinkedIn, but if you
Yeah.
search the one in Vegas, I think you'll hit the mark. So
Okay, awesome. So the best place to reach you is in LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Look for Nick Nielsen.
Maybe I'll include my handle or URL in the show notes.
For sure,
or
yeah,
whatever,
definitely, yeah,
whatever
yeah,
it's called.
definitely. So, yeah, thank you so much again, Nick, for joining us today on
Yeah.
on a lovely Thursday afternoon here, at the new podcast studio.
Yeah, looks great.
And
Looks great, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's very different. It's a good start. And thank you, Jackson, Bill Walsh, and the podcast mentioned. And thank you again for your time, Nick.
Thank you so
Appreciate you
much.
so much. Thank you.
Thanks for
Appreciate it.
having
Thank
me.
you. Yeah, for sure.